A couple of friends and I have just booked to go away to Spain in the month of November 2024. After that, I'm going to be staying somewhere else in Spain. And then after that, in the new year, not too sure yet. But it just made me think more people do deserve to live like this if they really want to. For me, I don't really want to be in the UK in the winter because it's pretty rainy. I find that my mood gets affected a lot by the rain and the cold and the darkness. So I don't really want to be there, and I really, really like Spain. Stayed in Spain for about 6 weeks of the winter last year. Really liked that, and I want to do it again. So that's what I'm doing. So in this video, I'm going to be taking you through how you can live a similar sort of life, in that you can travel around and fairly easily as well. Because a lot of it, you might be thinking, oh, I've got this job or I've got these ties to my current country, but really, in order to put yourself in a situation where you can work online and can stay in these lovely places in the winter, for example, it's really freeing feeling, and I'd love for you to feel the same. So, digital nomad definition, let's start with that. A person who earns a living working online in various locations of their choosing, rather than a fixed business location. So I'd say I'm probably a digital nomad for about half of the year. So currently right now I play American football in Berlin, Germany, because that is my job for the summer. But the other half, I don't necessarily have to live anywhere because I have an online business and I make my money online. So I don't need to go into the office or anything like that. I can travel around. So I would say I'm a digital nomad half of the year. You can be a digital nomad for the full year or half the year or whatever you want, really, depending on what your commitments are. So just to show you what the last, I guess, 9 months-ish has looked like for me, you'll get the idea that I do love Spain. But here, this is what November 2023 was like. So yeah, I like playing sport. I like working out. So a lot of what makes me happy is when you've got weather like this, when the sun's setting. I'm not sure what time exactly this is, but we're on the balcony, top floor of this gym, amazing gym, probably my favorite gym I've ever trained in. This is on my birthday actually, which is in November. We went to play paddle. Look at this blue skies. You just don't get that in the UK, blue skies on in November on my birthday, and yeah, playing some paddle there. So this brings me a lot of happiness. It's simple. It's just staying in a nice place, but really, this makes me feel really grateful for what I've been able to build. December. So after this, I flew back in December, middle of December, and then flew out to New Orleans. Now this wasn't like a stay, as in like I was staying there for multiple weeks or months. This was just a trip that my dad and I took. It was actually my gift to him for his 50th birthday. And this is just me in the hotel. I think this is probably about 4 a.m. while the jet lag was still, I was still in the wrong time zone. My brain was still in the wrong time zone. But I was able to get all of my work done between 4 and 7 a.m. And then when breakfast started at 7 a.m., I'd just go over there, have the breakfast, and enjoy the rest of the day exploring New Orleans. And that was really amazing too. Moving on into the following year, February 2024. So I'm actually back in the UK here. So you can see I got my gloves on, I've got my coat, I've got my hoodie as well. So yeah, I'd say not an ideal spot, but I did need to be in the UK at the time. But I was just living in an Airbnb at this point. I was training, I was getting ready for coming out here to Berlin. But we were also in an Airbnb that was close to my old team in the UK. So having that choice, having that option to actually stay near the old team is something I'm grateful for, because then I was able to train with them, practice with them, and get ready by going there. So it was nice and close. And then that brings us probably to, another trip to Andalusia. So yeah, this was nice. Just booked on a Saturday to fly out to Malaga on the Sunday. I think flew there, watched one of the teams I've been training with whilst in Spain at this moment in time. Watched them play one of their games, and yeah, that's just incredible weather. Enjoying that, walking around the streets of Malaga. Never been to Malaga before. And just a few days in Malaga, I was able to get my work done in the mornings, as I did at this point. And yeah, it's just amazing being able to fly somewhere on a Sunday, not have to take that holiday and decide to do it on the Saturday, fly on the Sunday, book a nice place on booking.com. And yeah, next thing you know, you're here sitting, watching the water, watching the yachts, and living life. And yeah, I think this brings us to now. So this is where I live at the moment. Yeah, exactly in this. No, I'm joking. This is just one of the castles, or I think it's Schloss Charlottenburg here in Berlin. So currently, I'm living in Berlin. As I mentioned, I do have to be here, so I'm in my kind of non-digital nomad phase right now. But it means that I can still, even though I'm in Berlin, I'm getting paid to play my sport, but I'm also running my business alongside. So yeah, I'm living here. It's a great city, and I love living in Berlin, to be honest. So yeah, lots of different things. And in terms of what comes next, so after this season, we'd look to go to Spain, and then I think probably do a different country. Oh, sorry, to a different continent at the start of next year. So stay tuned, see where I go. So how can you actually do this? Well, I hope that's kind of giving you a few ideas. And to be honest, like, just if you just focus on me quickly, you don't have to be earning anything crazy here. I think the most my business has ever made in a month is probably around $25,000. And the most I've paid myself is, I've not been paying myself a lot. Probably the most I've paid myself is around £3,000 in a month, because I've just never needed that much. But even with that, like, when you plan your places right, you book the right hotels. If you're staying for a short period of time, you book the right Airbnbs or apartments if you're staying for a longer period of time. This is why I say it's easy, right? Because you just don't need to be having some crazy large business with 30 employees or anything like that. You really don't. So I've been able to live like this without having to build something absolutely mental in terms of business size. That's an absolute nightmare to manage, and it's had its challenges, obviously, and I've documented that a little bit on this channel as well. But yeah, it's all achievable, and that's what I'm going to share with you. So what do you want to do first? Well, first, how much time do we have here? Because I'd like to do this with you. We're on 7 minutes right now. Yeah, let's set a goal together. So I like to go onto Airbnb. I'm just opening an incognito tab because I don't want you finding the places that I'm about to stay. But you can live wherever you want to live, really, and you might have some certain constraints. So you might be in the United States right now, and you might be thinking, okay, look, I probably don't want to do some crazy different time zone like Southeast Asia. So you might go for something like maybe we'll go for Buenos Aires in Argentina. So that's what you decide to do. And then when you book for 28 days or more on Airbnb, you actually get a really nice discount. Really, really nice discount. So if you're, let's say, I'm going to say that you might be in a place that's not that great weather through the winter. So maybe because Buenos Aires is in the southern hemisphere, they're actually going to have a nice January. So you might say, okay, look, in January, we're going to go for a month to Buenos Aires. And you can set the flexibility here for 7 days plus or minus, or even 14 days. You might be going with yourself, just yourself. And this is what you can do. So you can search, and then this is where you find what's really possible. Like, this is probably less than what you're paying in rent right now, unless you're renting with and splitting it with like 10 people. But really, my guess is that you're not paying a whole lot more than that, a whole lot like less than that if you are living somewhere like the US or the UK or something like this. So this is perfectly reasonable. You might want to go somewhere, you might want to push the boat out a little bit. You might say, okay, look, £820 a month, which is still crazy cheap, but look at this, man. look at the kind of place you could be living in with just £820 a month. So this could be like more of a stretch goal for you. You might say, okay, look, right now, like I don't really want to spend £820 on rent necessarily, but later down the line, yeah, definitely, that's what I'd be looking to do. But for now, I'm just going to be a digital nomad as easily as possible. So you're going to take a place like this, £345 a month, and then 407 after fees. And you're going to be like, right, now this is my goal. I need to make £407 a month for my rent money. Utility in Buenos Aires. So fresh produce, about $300. So we're on. So we've got 400 plus about 300 for food. And then we're going to get a flight. So I just like to go to Google Flights because I find it quite easy. But let's say you are in somewhere like Seattle, where it might be rainy, to Buenos Aires. Now this is probably going to be one of your most expensive things. So this is going to be, yeah, about a thousand here. So let's add that on. So 1,700, more or less. I know of mixed currencies here, but it's going to be about 1,700 to live in Buenos Aires for a month. And then if you wanted to live for 2 months, that doesn't go up by another 1,700. That's just going to go up by another 400. So then it's only going to be 2,100. So let's say you do that for, I don't know, 3 months of the year. That's another 800, so 2,500 total. And then divide that by 3. So you know you need to be able to make 833 roughly per month. Let's call it 1,000. So how can you actually chase that number of getting 1,000? Or, you know what, let's even double it. Let's say get 1,600 per month. How are you actually going to be able to do that? Well, the first step that you want to be able to do is choose a high income skill. So for me, the skill that I chose was actually web design and SEO. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. We help our clients to rank their websites better on Google. So if someone's searching for their products or services, our job is to help them show up higher, okay? So you want to choose a high income skill. This can be web design, it can be SEO, but it can also be lots and lots of different things. You can help someone with their graphic design, for example. You can help someone with their copywriting. You can write better emails for them. You can help someone with their video editing. You can help someone with their communication with clients and things like that. It could be that you might work with someone who's even renting Airbnbs. You could help them with their Airbnb management. There's so many different high income skills, and you'll probably find one that suits you pretty well depending on who you are. Now for me, I know that something like going into high ticket sales and getting a high ticket sales job probably isn't the right thing for me, because that's not where my strengths lie in terms of my personality. I'd say I'm definitely more introverted, and I prefer to, I'm better, I'm more analytical with things. I'm better kind of when I'm, let's say, working. The work I do best is probably just going to be more analytical, more technical, and that's where I'm going to thrive, okay? So choose something that's going to work for you and your personality. If you're like me, choosing something like web design, SEO, something like, you can even help people with setting up automations and things like that. That's probably going to be better for you. If you're someone that's more extroverted, more of a person that likes to dive into different relationships and things like that, then maybe being something like a salesperson is going to be the best choice. So choose a high income skill. Now, this is where you branch out into two things. So you're going to learn the skill and you're going to set up the business. So in terms of learning the skill, now with something like web design, you can learn that really quite quickly. There's going to be lots of courses online, on YouTube, on Udemy. on other course platforms like Skillshare and things like that, where you can learn that really, really easily. And that essentially applies for all of these high income skills, unless it's something incredibly niche that isn't really used a lot. And if you are looking at something like that, I probably wouldn't recommend. At that same time, you're going to set up the business. So this is where you're just going to create some assets online that make you look actually credible. And it's going to, I don't want you to waste time on this, okay? So I don't want you to spend ages on making your own business website, like for 6 weeks or whatever. Create the business website. I know that some people would recommend, okay, like just go without a website or whatever. But I personally, I'd say that I'd feel more confident if I did have kind of my ducks in a row, right, when it comes to my business setup. So this would be my just having a website on there, having some social media profiles on there, having a logo and making sure things that look somewhat tied together. Okay, so what I'd be looking at doing is this is the more difficult task, learning the skill. So in the first part of my day, if I've got a 9 to 5, what I'll be looking at doing is getting up early. So right now I like to get up around 5 o'clock. I'm not sure what that's going to be for your specific requirements and things like that and routine, but getting up early and being able to dedicate the first hour of your day towards learning that skill, and then afterwards in the evening or in free time, then this is probably just going to be about 20 minutes per day. You're going to really actually make some good progress with that, just spending 20 minutes a day on that. So you're going to learn the skill, you're going to get more confident. You're also going to use the weekends for this to stack that skill up even more. And then you're going to move into marketing your skill and delighting your clients. So how do you actually market your skill? Well, there are lots of ways to do this. It can be through content like this. It takes a bit more of a long time to build up. And you can also run ads. Now, depending on how much money you have, you might decide to do this or you might not. I really do recommend ads. It's an easy way to get money, put money in, and then work out how much money you can get out of that. And then you can scale it as much as you need as well, and it gets you a quick result. So I do really like ads. You can also do outreach. You can contact people that you know and people that you don't know. So you can contact people you know saying, look, I'm doing automations. I'm helping plumbers with their automations now. I was just wondering if you knew any plumbers that might need automations. And then I'm just, like whatever your sales pitch ends up being. You can also contact people you don't know. And you do this through something like cold email or cold calling, direct mail, lots and lots of different things. So there's loads and loads of ways that you can market your skill. Once you get some clients from marketing your skill, now you want to delight your clients. And I'd say really you want to keep learning this skill throughout. And by doing the work for your clients, you're going to learn it better. And just be a constant student, right, of this. Because if you can make your clients happy, with my business, I care more about my current clients than getting any more money. People differ, but I would probably assume that you probably would care more about, if you're similar to me at least. This is all I care about really with my business. I just want to make them as happy as possible and make sure that they're getting the result that they've paid for, because it really means a lot to me that they've chosen me over, let's say, larger competitors that we have in our niche. So yeah, make sure you delight your clients, really do a good job. Lots of people will just stop at the fact that they've got the client. But then they miss out on this part, which is getting referrals and repeat business and things like that as well. So that's essentially it. So let's say you're selling websites. You're selling websites for about 500 to start with. You need to sell 3-4 websites to live an incredibly comfortable life for on a monthly basis, and you'll be able to live in somewhere like Buenos Aires. That's why I say it's easy. Now, at this point, when you've kind of met that goal, you're going to have a pretty important period in your business where you need to consider the next steps. And this is really where I messed up. So I want you to listen to me in this part, really, because it's got the chance for things to go wrong for you in terms of what you enjoy. So you're going to have some options. You can help people with something else. So you might have decided, okay, look, I'm at the point now where I'm getting, let's say, £2,000, dollars euros per month from my business. I'm selling a few websites, or you might get to the point. So, for example, I've sold websites for £5,000 before. So you might only have to sell one every 2 months when you get to that point. So you can help people with something else. So you might be like, okay, I found that enjoyable. I'm selling a website a month. This is what I'm doing right now to be completely transparent with you. So I'm helping people with setting up their online business so they can become digital nomads and live this life of more of location freedom and things like that. This is something that I find more purposeful right now than my agency business. So that's why you can help people with something else. Really, when you go through this business journey, you're going to go from you 1.0 to you 2.0, really. So there's going to be a lot of different things that you change in your life. There are going to be lots of different things that you learn, different ways that you grow in terms of productivity, in terms of focus, discipline, willpower, all of these different things. And you're going to find a few things that you that mean a lot to you. So to me, I love business as a whole. I love entrepreneurship, and the fact that I've been able to change my life in such a significant way, still at a pretty young age, means a lot to me. And the fact that I could actually help someone else do that, that's something that kind of speaks more to me. I've made lots of progress in things like productivity, focus, discipline, building up my morning routine or evening routine, or optimizing the way I sleep and diet and things like that, all for the purposes of my business. But really, in terms of what I would say I find most meaningful, is probably helping someone to actually see what's possible in terms of business and actually realize that potential as well. So that's why I'm helping with this area right now. But there are going to be different things that you realize and change along the way, from going from you 1.0, the non-business owner version, to you 2.0, the business owner version, that you might be able to help other people with. So that is going to be an option. What else can you do? You can grow the business. So this is the initial decision I decided to make. I decided to hire more people and really focus on growing the business to bring in more clients. And I was like, okay, look, the goal is 100K a month now. And really that wasn't actually in line with what I truly wanted deep down. So that's why this is a really important period where you actually do intentionally consider your next steps. I got swept up by the goals of other people. I've got another video on my channel about don't try and achieve other people's goals or something like that. I got swept up into this and I stopped enjoying it as much as a result, because it wasn't truly aligned with what I wanted. Lots of people do want that large agency, they want that large business that they can run, but I don't think you'll know until you are kind of in it. And I'm not knocking this at all. Like, this is a great way to have a high profit business that gives you lots and lots of opportunities, financial, location, whatever really. It gives you a lot of opportunities, and it might be the type of thing that you like to do. And if it is, then by all means, go for it. And then the other one is just continue as you are. To be honest, if you like doing what you're doing right now, you've got a good way of getting the clients in, then keep doing that. Keep doing it. And then this finally just brings me on to the final point. Document the process. This is a regret I have. I didn't document my journey from the start. I didn't really realize how much of a change I would go through as an individual, as a person, as a result of creating my online business, and all of the adventures and exciting and disappointing and difficult, challenging, thrilling times along the way. And I wish I documented it. The reason why is it's nice to obviously look back on, but when you document the journey and document the process of going from who you are now to the person who is living a life closer to this, where you've got that freedom, you can live where you want, or where you wherever is going to be optimal for your goals at that moment in time. And when you go through that process, you're actually going to inspire and motivate other people along the way. So this will give you the option to help people with something else. So you might get really deep into self-improvement and how you can use self-improvement to help with your business success and things like that. That might mean a lot to you, and people will see that transformation, and then you'll be able to help them with other things. You can also use that as a point of growing the business. when you've got a personal brand and you're documenting the process, then other people, like really great potential employees, can actually find your personal brand. They're going to follow you, and someone with a personal brand is going to attract better employees than people without. And hiring is an incredibly difficult thing to do. You probably don't appreciate it right now, but it is really, really hard to do. And find the right people that are going to buy into your mission is really challenging. So doing that is going to help you to grow the business in the right way and hire the right people. And then in terms of continuing as you are, I'd say it's probably documenting the process has the least value, because you're probably not creating your content for the potential client. So if you're doing web design, you might be helping plumbers specifically with their web design. Creating content might not necessarily help with acquiring clients for that, but you can build a community around that, and you might end up helping people with something else inadvertently, and it's also enjoyable as well to, as I said at the start, to look back on. So definitely please take this recommendation to document the process. It doesn't have to be YouTube videos like this if you really don't want to be on camera. It can be through blog posts, it can be through social media where it's written only, like Twitter, or primarily written like Twitter. It can be through a newsletter, it can be through any manner of things really, but I'd really recommend that you document the process. So yeah, that's why it's pretty easy for you to achieve. You don't need, as we saw, you don't need an awful lot of money to be able to have this freedom and live a life like this in a really nice apartment in Buenos Aires. And yeah, I think it's all there for you, and I'd love for you to be able to live the life as well, because I'm so incredibly grateful for myself over the last few years making that decision, and I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, even at this point as well. Once I kind of got to the point where I could live where I wanted to live, I made a crucial mistake at this point where I just didn't choose the right next step for me as a person. Someone else would want to grow the business to 30 employees and running with hundreds of clients or whatever, but not me. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful, and I wish you the best in your digital nomad journey. If you do want help, there's a link in the description of this video where you can speak with me, and we can have a chat and see what your goals are, where you want to go, and then if there's anything I can do to help you out along the way, then I'll be really happy to do so. And yeah, it means a lot to me to be able to help you. So I'm currently allowing people to work with me one-on-one. I do have other commitments, so it's not going to be too many with football and my own business and everything like that. But yeah, it'd be a pleasure to help, and we'd really be able to do this quite quickly. So yeah, that's that for the video. Thanks a lot for watching. You take care, and I'll speak to you next time.